Welders, don't get discouraged. All publicity is good publicity. I had to learn this when I was in the hip hop field heavy before I actually um, learned how to balance my welding and hip hop. You know, the hashtag that you see or different videos you see that say welding and hip hop. I actually learned the difference when I was learning how to turn my hip hop into a business. And I had to realize that from just facts, all publicity is good. Like, not saying that you go out and do something ridiculous to get yourself some attention, but just saying if someone comes and hate on you or say a bad comment or try to post something negative on you, it only influence others to take a look at you, and then they be like, man, this dude ain't like that. Like, those who are real will stay, and those who are faulty would just come in just to see what's going on. And then once they see, oh man, this is something I need to stay involved in or whatever, you know what I mean? So regardless of someone leaving a negative comment on your platforms, especially if you public and you set them up so that way it'll represent your business, represent your brand, or it's your blog or whatnot. And if you got it set up in a proper way, it really doesn't matter because you get paid off engagement. So even though they might want to hate or stop through and leave a negative comment or push the down button instead of the up button, it's still a engagement. And they thinking like, oh, I'm hate on them, but they helping you. You see what I'm saying? So you get discouraged, like, man, so and so left this negative comment. So and so put this, they put the downs button. You know, it doesn't matter because you get an engagement, and it's still going to require someone else to check you out. Cause you gotta, you gotta think. Everybody isn't going to agree with your concept. Everybody isn't going to agree with you, but it's okay because on the majority scale, those that you really trying to touch, you're gonna reach anyway. You see what I'm saying? And those who are just haters, just plain haters, and just don't want to see you do anything, they tend to engage, not knowing that they helping you. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I don't really, I don't really trip. Some things, like honestly, um, certain messages, I allow to come up, but if I happen to see something, I just delete it. I don't even respond to it if I feel like I don't want that comment up there. I just take it down. You know what I mean? But I'm not even going to give them um, I'm not even gonna give them no attention. The only attention they're gonna get from me is knowing that they just wasted all that time to text or to say whatever they had to say, and I'm gonna delete. That's all you gotta do, man. So don't let it bother you. You know what I mean? Don't get discouraged because someone got something to say about what you're doing. It's okay. You got to step out there anyway. Someone always gonna have an opinion. You know what I mean? Your goal is just to keep doing what you're doing and stay consistent. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of time you receive hate because people tend to see something in you that they want to see in themselves, or they want to try to critique what you're doing, and they're not taking care of their business personally. And you can tell if you happen to peek into their life, you can tell that they all over the place, but they can tell you what you need to be doing and how you need to say it and what they don't agree on when they need to be focusing on their own life personally. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. You always gonna have people like that. Always. You know what I mean? So don't worry about that. Just, keep doing what you're doing and get paid off the hate. Get paid off of it. It's fine. You know what I mean? They say what they want to say. It's fine. You still making money. You still doing your thing, and it's not bothering you. You know what I mean? But you always going to have someone like that. So don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? Just learn how to balance it out. Balance your business, balance the fact that as many people that's going to say no, it's going to be three-quarters or more people that's going to say yes. You see what I'm saying? So don't get discouraged in that. Don't look at those numbers. Don't get discouraged about the comments. Don't let nothing like that just keep you from being who you want to be organically, authentically. You know what I mean? So just wanted to come through, man, this morning, man, and say that, like I say, I was thinking about a couple things to address, and it's just funny how, you're always going to receive that. You know what I mean? It's going to be on a good and a bad. I have had someone, like, no lie, like, y'all, like, I have noticed just through emails. You know how you see an email here and there and you see one? Man, I have noticed that just over time since I've been doing this, and I've been blogging now, um, since I think I made my blog page in 2016, but I actually been blogging like consistently the last year or 2 years. You know what I mean? And in that time, I have seen some of the same names pop up, disappear, pop up, disappear. Like I don't know if they'd be like, I'm not gonna follow him no more, and then they come back, I'm gonna follow him again. I'm gonna subscribe. I'm subscribed. I guess they feel like that's hurting me or something, or they disagree. It hurts them so bad that they unsubscribe and they come back. I don't know. I don't understand that shit. You know what I mean? But that just goes to show you, man, people don't know how they express their mental issues because a lot of times that's what it is. You know, we all got issues. And I feel like people need to learn or going to have to how to address their own personal issues and not like lashing out at someone else because all you doing is undressing your issues and showing that person that man, I got a problem. You know what I mean? Anyone with common sense, anyone that's not, full of hate or on no BS, they gonna notice like, yeah, he got something going on, or she got something going on. Like you shouldn't have responded like that. You know what I mean? But that's just part of just growing up and just dealing with people. You know what I mean? Just it is what it is, man. But don't let that discourage you. You know what I mean? Don't let that discourage you, regardless of the situation. Even though you got a message, we have seen throughout history that our messengers have been destroyed, have been killed, have been lied on, have been put in situations to compromise their message or try to compromise the message or, I mean, turn into martyrs. I mean, history shows you. So if you're going to actually do something and you really, really want to stand on it, you're going to get some persecution. Like you're going to get it is what like you're going to get it. Like that's part of it. So don't think that you're going to get in a certain position without getting any persecution because I mean that's what it is. You know what I mean? You're going to get that. You're going to get someone that's going to take you out or want to take you out. One of the two. You know what I mean? And you got to be willing to know that it's an old saying and a concept that I embraced that said those who try to save their lives will lose their lives. You know what I mean? And those who would lose their lives would gain a life. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know, it's not being reckless, but it's being realistic to know you got to leave here anyway. So if that's the way that it got to go, then that's the way it got to go. You know what I mean? You don't know what type of symbol your your death or your cause of what the enemy does to you will cause the stroke of the like to spark up a rebellion that will open up a door for change. You know what I mean? Just kind of like what we looking at with our Black Lives Matter movement with the brothers and sisters that had passed recently, and our brother George Floyd, who's actually sparked it, that kicked it really, really off. You know what I mean? Watching his death, graphically face to face, like you was like there listening to his words, watching the officers, watching the language, listening to others, like it was something, man. It was something, and sometimes, like I say, he didn't know, his life was going to do what it did, and you have people protesting in 50 states and other countries. You know what I mean? Saying Black Lives Matter because they do. And I think our people is now going to finally form a seat to sit with the nations about what has been done to us and how we can actually form a nation, a group of people that represents us and not having nothing, unity with all others, but we got to have something for us that's ours. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you tend to hear people say things when it comes to the reparations idea. Well, why do I got to pay for something that I didn't do? Well, you've been benefiting off something that you didn't do. You tell me you haven't been benefiting off. If you're a white American, if you ain't been benefiting off of slavery, you know what I mean? You need to stop lying to yourself. You have benefited greatly. And you don't even know it. Like, do some homework. You know what I'm saying? Do some homework. You look at the food stamps. That wasn't meant for African Americans. We got into it, but if you check the records, there's way more Caucasians, way more white Americans on government assistance programs than it is African Americans. Those are facts. Do your homework. You know what I mean? But I'm not pointing no finger at nobody, but I'm saying we got to have our own. So why get mad at us because we stand up and say we want to have our own? You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like ain't nobody pointing no finger. It's like, A person will like not say they racist and then, or not say they racist and then do something racist. You know what I mean? Like denying someone to have their own individuality or having their own concept, like without trying to correct them. What I think it should be done like this. So what would you think? Your opinion don't matter in this situation. You see what I'm saying? And I had one of my guys hit me up, and he said something that caught my attention, and I want to address it now just because it just popped in my mind. But when you in your circle and you have something that you need to say to somebody in your circle, um, you need to address that person. If it's on your heart, address that person. But when people's on the outside, what the outside, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But those that close to you, those who believe in you, those who are in your circle that actually want to see you grow, they matter. Their opinions matter, and you want to listen to them. You know, if you use it or not, I still you still listen to it, and it's what it is. You know what I mean? I heard different actors and comics and different people that actually have wrote for people, and they wrote for them, and they read it, checked it out, and they said, "Well, I did it, and he didn't use it, but he still checked it out." You know what I mean? Sometimes a person can use ideas to spark an idea. You know what I mean? So it's just different, man. But I believe that you shouldn't get discouraged with uh, the bad media or the bad publicity that you get from others that don't agree with your philosophy and your way of doing things. You know what I mean? So it's okay because people gonna be like that regardless. So what I have learned to do is just continue to do what you do, regardless of the situation. We're in the age and time now where um, you gonna have to press on. Like now is the time to really press. Now is the time to really press, and you can't have like soft skin to really allow what they say. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, man, I have been out here traveling. I have, worked on jobs. I have been around contractors. I've been around people with money. I've been around people without money. You know what I'm saying? I've been around different hoods, and one thing that I know that's a universal truth, man. Um, a person respect a person respect the survival. You know, on both sides, regardless of what they say, they respect the survival, like man, and the consistency. You know what I mean? Because one thing is, we know our goal is to get better over time. So as long as I can't disagree with how you started if you constantly improving. You see what I'm saying? Because yeah, you might didn't know that you could open that door and get to that room when you first started, or that color right there would attract these type of people. Then you just like, man, maybe I need to do this. So as long as you improve over time, like you're not stagnated, you're not standing still. You know what I mean? You're actually improving. Then the evidence is going to itself regardless. Like they say from the South, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? It's going to show itself. But you have to be willing to put in the work and drown out the noise. People gonna say stuff or see you gonna see stuff. You're gonna have to drown it out. You like just bam, delete, keep going. Or I see it, keep going. Or yield sign or stop sign and keep going. You see what I'm saying? Don't let it stop your momentum. Keep your momentum going. You know what I mean? And get them something to hate about. You know what I mean? Uh, keep putting fuel on the fire is what I say. You know what I mean? Keep doing you. And one thing that I know, man, when it's righteous, when it's from the heart, when it's pure, you're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? You're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Even though you might not learn something and you're gonna step on toes, you're gonna burn bridges. Stuff happens, man. Stuff happens that you don't prepare for. But if you can make it right, make it right. And if the person don't allow you to make it right, you just got to keep going. Don't just say, man, I got to stop everything 'cause that person won't forgive me. Hey, man, that's on them. If you come to them and you say, hey, yep, I was wrong about that. I wanted to correct that. Let's correct that and move on. Now you might not even do business with them or whatever, but you want to go and correct that situation. Move on. But don't feel guilty about that. I would say that. because I have just noticed it just, in my personal career, just growing, I done had people who I thought was, 100, who I thought was loyal. Then as time went by, I realized that they wasn't who they say they was, you know what I mean? And a lot of times they showed me, but we get caught up in the words sometimes, and just to my beginners, I just want to say, don't be so quick to listen to what someone has to say, but to watch what they have to say. I want to say that again. Don't be so quick to listen to what someone have to say, but watch what they have to say. You know, listen to their conversation and how they live, because if the if they live a certain way, they're gonna speak it. It's gonna align. It's gonna line up. But you might meet someone that speak this certain thing, and then over time they fall off because it wasn't them. Because if you would shine a spotlight on something that's authentic, it's gonna last. You know, and one thing, I'm gonna be real with you. One thing I like about gold is, you know, it's purified, and they say gold is purified in fire 7 times to bring it to its perfection stage, to actually give it that that pureness to shine, and to take out all the impurities they get, because it gets impurities just like your skin. It's an element. You see what I'm saying? But in order for it to shine, you know what I mean, it have to be purified. So, you know, don't don't get discouraged when you go through the fire, because you're gonna go through the fire. You know what I mean? You're gonna go through the fire of life, of learning, of figuring things out, of doing business deals, of people taking advantage of you, or you losing money, or you know what I mean? It's gonna happen. So don't get discouraged in that, because those L's that you think you have and those losses are really lessons. You know what I mean? That it's gonna be a luxury for you later. You know what I mean? It's going to turn into a luxury where you can kick your feet off, because you went through that lesson that turned into that loss that turned into a lesson that now is a luxury, and you riding around off of that lesson. You see what I'm saying? Everything can turn into threefold if you allow it to. Like, if you allow your mind to grow like this, you can get in a position to think like that. You know what I mean? But we all run. Ain't nobody perfect, man. You know what I mean? We got to figure this thing out. Everybody got their own way. You know what I mean? Um, I would say I always like to say my approach is a little unorthodox. I'm a little rough around the edges, just for me, doing time and being from the hood. But I'm well traveled. I have traveled around at least the U.S., where I've met different people, and I have whole conversations. So I do know how to talk to people. You know what I mean? But I feel like I can. I feel like I can hold my own in whatever room. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? Um, but I don't brag and boast about anything, because the way I look at it is, um, I'm kind of like how people say they'll blow your head up, but I feel like I'm kind of like the balloon that know I got a small pinhole. You know what I mean? So no matter how big or what someone else say to try to puff me, oh man, well, I still know who I am. You see what I'm saying? So I remain humble, and I think that um, once you realize that part of your life, that you're gonna have something in your life that's gonna keep you humble. And I think that's just part of how God designed us, and how it was written that ye are gods, but you would die like man. I want you to think about that, you know what I mean? Because if a God created us, that means we are one too, but we would die like man. That means our time won't expire here, but our spirit lives on, just my personal belief. But I think that, we have to really be open to change, and really be open to learning who we are, and learning um, from our good and our bad. So don't get caught up and get discouraged in what others saying. You just keep doing what you're doing, you know, and sometimes they'll try to distract you to slow you down. But before I go, I do want to say this. Don't tell your left hand what your right hand doing. Learn to keep a secret from yourself sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't tell everybody everything you're doing. You just show them after it's done. Hold on.